All right, here we go. Game 3, and I love this draft compared to the last one. Much better. Lee Sin with more agency in the jungle. You also have Kennen Cassante as a combination where you can move the fights and kind of dictate the flow of fights. You did have to give Ari to Chovy, which means that you are probably going to give up 20 CS, maybe 200 by 18 minutes, because that's what Chovy does on this champion. Used to have a couple weaknesses on Ari, some trade patterns at ill-timed play, but I think honestly, by watching Faker play and seeing exactly when you can and can't be aggressive on this pick and knowing which tools can be used defensively, Chovy has shorn up that part or that weakness to their game and has just looked exceptional on the champion. You do have magical footwear here from the mid and first strike, and you see it as well from Kha'Zix. So they're saying, yeah, we're going to be fine. We're going to scale up, deal tons of damage in these fights. And Kha'Zix, you see actually paired with Gragas correctly, right? This is what you want. You want champions that can split up fights. Thresh that can be zone controlled. Jinx can put out the bombs, or the traps, I should say. Gragas can blow up the fight and move it around. And that will allow and enable Kha'Zix to be strong here. Now, we saw in the LCK playoffs, we saw Zeus, the Lightning Man himself, try to take Kennen into Gragas, and he could not crack that nut. So I don't expect Fudge to be able to do any better. Zeus originally being a Kennen main and one of the best players in the world. So if he can't get it done, I don't think anyone can. But we'll see. We'll see if they can get these fights, try to get these proactive actions where Kennen's coming in on their own terms. But Gragas will be able to just split up the fight, right? Just, okay, you want to come in, we'll split you up, try to discoordinate your engage. Now, as far as lanes are concerned, Thresh going E first on Flay. You don't need the hook at level 1. If you get hook, it's way too hard to hit against Lucian Nami. So instead, you go with Flay, saying, hey, we can take a trade at level 1 where you are weakest. And make no mistake about it, Lucian Nami not actually that strong at level 1. Like we said in Game 2, there's not enough uptime on Nami spells, and Lucian's not getting the benefit, right? The reason that this lane is so strong is because of the change to Lucian's passive last year that make it so that while he's being buffed, he gets extra attack damage, right? And so Nami puts a buff on you every time that she casts a spell that hits you. She's going to give you a move speed. That counts as a buff. And also when the E is on you, it counts as a buff. So those things being, kind of longer standing buff effects allow Lucian to stay strong with his passive for longer. It's why Milio Lucian is out of control and why he had to get banned for this tournament. Milio is around on this patch, but they declared that Yumi and Milio did not have enough time to get patched or prepared. So you don't see Nico, you won't see Milio, and you won't see Yumi as being the most recent bigger changes. They didn't want the entire tournament to shape around those picks while they're still being changed. And if you've played against Milio Lucian in solo queue, you know what we're talking about. It's just giving that champion attack range, his one weakness, and you give him more speed and attack range, like that's tough to deal with. And Milio, of course, being good with so many other champions as well. So we'll be excited to see that champion in pro in summer. I'm sure he's not going to get nerfed out of the meta by then, but probably by Worlds. The thing is, still a new champion. The pros are going to be better at him than anyone will be in solo queue. And so even though the champion will appear balanced, I'm sure it will still be OP by Worlds. Just the way that things tend to go. Also, let's not lie. The Riot's trying to gain target audience. Having some time with new champions being strong on the Rift is profitable. You get more fans, right? Now, one other such champion, Cassante, just showing exactly how strong he is in midwave with even probably the most impressive laner in Ahri into a melee, and K'Sante just shrugs it off. Has not even had to use his potion yet. And just look at all the resources that Ahri has to give up. This matchup is so, or K'Sante is so overtuned that mid laners stopped even trying to go corrupting potion because it doesn't matter. You cannot get through this champion. They have too many resources. Second Wind plus Doran Shield is too good against corrupting potion. You're actually healing them, believe it or not. Yes, you get your own resources, but that damage over time is just helping them out. So Chovy showing the adaptation, which is to go Doran's Ring. It also means that you'll be a little bit faster on your spike because you get a little bit more AP, right? Going into that fight, having an extra 60 health and an extra 15 AP means that you're a little bit stronger. It also means that your wave clear comes online a little bit faster. As soon as level 3, you can get 2 points in Q, but most times they're going to go 4. Now check out, let's see this corral. They're trying to get out of this situation. M&S is trying to flex in. The moment that they show strength, though, Delight steps up and gets a beautiful flay. Means he's going to get 2 picks for himself here. And Cloud9 has gotten themselves into another bit of a pickle. But that was really well played. I want to see this replay, show you guys how they're positioning. Good play by Fudge here. I actually really love this. Use the ultimate on the wave here. Get an HP advantage. Now be careful, right? That champion has a deceptively high amount of health. You get the prevention from the W, of course. Ooh, that connects and it counts. 1 HP. And you see the Gragas passive just ticking on. Oh my gosh, a mistake from Doran. Fudge stepping out into the bush like he's about to go dark and throws it at that moment. Well played by him, but, you know, definitely a mistake by Doran. Now, with teleport being down, this does mean that it's going to usher Ahri into the top wave. She's going to pick this up. Now, check out this rotation. Gragas is going to come over to mid lane because you haven't really lost anything. The fact that mid lane shows up, here, we'll talk about it in a second. So here's the position. Late engage, coming to the fight. 3v3. Move this position. Heal is down. Flash is down from Blabber. Now, what's this step to the left? This needs to be communicated to your team. Like, when you're stepping into the pit like that, you're saying that, hey, I'm Lee Sin and I'm Lucian. We can jump over the back left side of this pit. Someone's saying, no, I've got a good position. And maybe that's true where M&S felt strong here relative to this spot, but they missed their opportunity to get out. And because you missed, you just have to call out the play. You just have to say, that's it. We gotta move out. 5 HP there. Gragas staying alive. Check out this play. Look how he throws it. The moment that he has an angle and he sees Gragas take one step, but Doran, knows that was a misplay. He's like, how did I let that happen? Didn't need to do it at all. Ends up giving a point of strength to C9. Now, that's something that he didn't give to Zeus, right? He never gave that kill that allowed the Kennen to get that much stronger. Maybe Fudge just better at Kennen than Zeus? What I wanted to talk about was the transition afterwards, right? So after Gragas died, very important, Ahri goes and picks up top. The reason you're able to do that is because midwave arrives 10 seconds earlier. This is something that apparently is going to change the workings. Oh my gosh. The workings are already in game for the patch that's coming up. It should be coming out tomorrow, maybe even today. I actually have to know. Is this patch already live? Patch notes, lol. 1310. 20 hours ago. Yep. Okay, here we go. Minions. Nope, that's Runon's, Static Shiv. Oh man, all these items. The first major change for minions is adjusting the speed of minion waves. Mid lane minions have always met first, meaning that mid laners can clear the wave and look for ganks and roams, while the side lanes risk themselves to clear minion waves. Due to the wave offset, mid laners don't have to risk as much for high pressure plays. So they're basically changing this. Probably the last vestige, the last time we'll see something like that, where mid lane can take their wave, then they can move up. Because their wave came 10 seconds faster, they were able to get up to top wave. Even though Gragas died, Ahri goes and gets it. Gragas respawns. He gets the new mid wave, which came 10 seconds earlier. And then you can rotate back to your lanes. So even when there's a death in top lane, mid laner should always go and cover the wave, right? It's just your prerogative. You finished clearing your wave before they could. Let's see, Chovy all in versus Cassante. Can we get the rest of this? No, he doesn't get the part 2 of the R to get the Q to reposition. MNS getting out, but going to be tougher from here. Merc Treads makes him mobile, but means that he doesn't really have the stats to use in those fights. And you see with that all out, not having quite enough. So yeah, it won't be relevant anymore in your games. The first spawn of minions will still be mids, but every other spawn will meet at the same time as side lanes, which is going to completely change the game. Completely. First pro team to adapt to this is going to have a huge advantage. Oh, beautiful play by Doran. He's so good on this champion. Basically, by saying that by waves coming at the same time, it means that you're no longer going to have that jungle mid, push mid pressure and turn it into 4v2 ganks, which I think is going to make the game much less exciting. But where's the opening? I'll leave you guys. We'll talk about it in the next video that we make. But put it in the comments. What do you think is going to happen? Think critically. What's going to happen to the map now that side lanes are going to arrive at the exact same time? Ooh, Berserker flashing on top of the barrel for just a moment. Tiptoeing. Oh, Doran's going to wish that he had that click right there. There was just a moment where Berserker was on top of the barrel and Doran was a little bit slow to react. Going for that outplay kind of shows how much they think that they're better than this team. Despite him being down 40 CS to that Lucian, right? Completed Serrated Dirk and Gale Force now, but despite being down that much, saying, yeah, I can still take this. I got this. I'm full build. I'm Gragas with Everfrost. My team's up by a significant amount. All right, let's see. Are we going to get a play here? Force it, Fudge. Force it, force it, force it. Nope. Lantern is down, means there's no play left to be had. Maybe if Sven were already here, they could have done that. Kennen plus Nami can be a really interesting synergy where you can get Kennen to dive forward with extra pressure, or you can say, hey, I'm going to put the tidal wave on this vector, forcing you guys to move against this wall, that wall, and maybe make it easier for Kennen to get 3, 4, 5 people all stunned up. MNS with the quick reaction to get the ultimate off, making sure that Doran can't just take him, and he's taking this fight. Now, Doran, are you going... You've been limit gapped again by NA players. Now, this comes down to the fact that he lost the first one, and I think this is what he's not accounting for. Well, we're going to go kick flash, but he doesn't have ultimate. MNS does not have it anymore, but he is tanky. Is GenG going to outplay themselves? They're going for the limit tests, and they're, this is whether or not Cloud9 wins this game. And I don't think they're going to win this series nor win this game. But if they do, I'm going to, regardless of what happens, the fact that they're winning 1v1 outplays is tremendous for the narrative of NA into Eastern teams. Hey, it's possible. We can take these guys, right? That's what's been missing. The part that they play afraid, always afraid. Look at this. Swagger by Sven saying, I want to stop a recall with an ultimate, right? We're going to tempo. We're going to push you back. We're going to do something. We're actually winning some plays. Hey, guys, we can do this. Show some confidence. We've got this. That is a lasting effect. Let's see if they can hold on to that. Worst case scenario would be if they just got blown out right now. Next fight, they just get wiped. They try to take something. But like Blabber is one of the only players in NA's history that has been willing to make plays on the international stage. Jojo Pyun being another. But mostly, ill-conceived sometimes. Still a young player. Has a lot to glean from the macro of the game still. Blabber's been there. He's done that. He's been on this stage before. He has the confidence. I'd like to see everybody else playing with that confidence. I want to see Fudge with that confidence. I definitely want to see Berserker. Berserker was shaking the other day, if you remember. I want to see these guys be confident. And whether or not it happens in this series, the cultural, right? The cultural change of saying, hey, we can show up at this tournament and we can expect to do well. That is the big difference. And these little outplays, when you're trying to take a limit test, excuse me, historically have always gone Korea's way, right? They make the play because they know it's calculated. Right now, you see a couple little stretches by Doran, not able to actually consolidate into a win, and has opened the door for Cloud9 to feel a little bit more confident here. Look at that play by Fudge. See? Now Fudge knows that the explosive cask is coming this time, knows that it was used last time to put him under turret, so makes the same play, makes an adaptation. I like seeing this confidence. I like seeing this a lot. And now, of course, it's different, right? When Doran was taking this to Zeus, for example, and when he was winning before on Gragas, it's constantly being on par and just taking base stats on Gragas being super strong. Things change the moment you give up a little bit of a lead, right? That little difference, let's say it's just 800 gold. 800 gold is the difference between them having, let's say, another Amp Tome and Ruby Crystal. They might not die to the all-in. They might actually deal a little bit more chunk damage back to you. And you see that those are the gaps that have happened so far, right? The player just barely surviving. Gragas being a half level down maybe. Look at this aggressive play. I love it. Nami Tidal Wave into pressing up with the Rift Herald. They'll get another dive off. Now Chovy's going to use the ultimate to try to position him for the team. Good job by Plabber using the flash early. It does mean that Lucian is going to bite the dust for it. Would have liked to see the team commit to this play. Instead, they end up inting their teammate by backing off. MNS, if he wasn't tilted before, that's probably going to be a huge tilter, because you still have access to Kennen ultimate and you were up a player. You should have been trying to make this play. So instead you get nothing. Multiple players dying here. Kennen finally going in, able to get a little bit of something back, using the rocket belt to get 2 kills. Now Chovy's going to dance this edge. Good job by Fudge though. You see this confidence just a little bit. I would have liked to see it before. Just because enemy team was flanking does not mean that you needed to go away. And in fact, with Chovy on your backside, best way to do it would have been to F your way forward. It's old Dario quote. If I can't fight my way out, I'll flash my way out. Forward. Flash forward. All right, let's check it out. Let's see if there was a window here. Love to see the aggression here. Turret is imminently dead, so you're getting the maximum amount of damage from Berserker's solution. That's fantastic. So right here, you see that there's 2 people back here. You cannot, Sven, you cannot take this step past this wall. If your team's going to retreat, it has to be this way. Probably just should have been flashed from Lucian over this wall to begin with, and go up and escape this way. Consolidate yourselves in that bush behind the red. Basically a colossal misplay from Sven to take that angle. You have to know, right? Chovy, you have Ahri and Gragas on your bottom right. You have to go left. You cannot try to go down at all. You will get cut off. So they get punished by that misposition. They do have 8 kills for themselves. I'm sure they're going to feel good, but it's not translating into enough gold. They are down more than 5k. So we're going to see completed full item spikes coming in, especially from Ahri. Is going to be tremendously large with this Rabadon's third, correctly going horizon focus. We haven't seen enough of that from this pick. Love to see it saying, hey, I need to be a significant source of extra damage in this fight, especially since we have the Gragas to kind of isolate, split up the fight. Very, very good situations for Ahri and Kha'Zix to be paired with Gragas, because they're so mobile and they can hunt down someone that's being split up. Now, if you're Kennen here, I'd love to see you freeze this wave. Your team's not trying to do anything. They're just holding a defensive position while getting some advantages in the western quadrant into the river. Force the Gragas to commit up into this wave if he wants anything. Now, it looks like Gragas, used a little bit of HP, which basically just means using mana. uses his mana to step up into this wave to trade it back, forces Kennen to try to fight for it, and then dams the wave into a pushing spot. Now, with 2 turrets being gone here, it means that you can never really construct this wave to slow push the way that you want to as Kennen. What you'd basically have to do is just kill 1 minion in this line. Just kill 1 caster as these minions are meeting, 7 versus 7. Make it 7 versus 6 so that you get an ever so slight advantage, and then your next wave will pile and pile and pile. But you're really not going to get enough of an effect from doing that, so instead opting to just clear the wave, let it get under turret, make a Gragas come by to pick it up, and Kennen will be first on the map. Now you do have maximum damage here, Shadow Flame and Rocket Belt. Now Shadow Flame, when you compare it to Morellonomicon, you're really looking to see how many shields versus how many heals are in the game, and in this game I think he has chosen poorly. Right, Shadow Flame versus Morello, look at the amount of healing that they have. You're going to have Jinx with inbuilt. You're going to have part of the build, part of the runes. Ahri has natural healing. Kha'Zix has natural healing on his W. Gragas has natural healing. I bet Thresh probably has it in the green tree as well. Not 100% on that. Nice steal there by Doran. But even he could have some with Font of Life. So I don't like the Shadow Flame purchase here compared to Morellonomicon, right? The extra, now that it has Spell Pen, that item is very, very useful. You could come out of this fight and say, hey, I get you all mad low. We're going to reduce your healing. And I'm just going to be responsible for being the big chunk at the start of the fight, and then we'll let Lee Sin, Lucian, and Cassante win with their mobility post-op. But goes for Shadow Flame instead. We also have Sorc Shoes, is worth noting. Fewer flashes available, fewer flash teleports, but the one that you make will have more weight. So that is the trade-off when you do go for Sorc Shoes instead of Lucid. Or Ionian Boots of Lucidity. When you get that item, you get to flash more, you get to teleport more, you can look for more plays, knowing that you'll have access to another one in a shorter time frame, right? Less than 3.5 minutes. Whereas when you have Sorc Shoes, you're relying entirely on Cosmic Insight. 15% cooldown, 1/6, right? So 40 seconds less, every 320, but imagine if it were every 230. That would almost get you aligned with some of the ultimates in this game. Certainly you'd have one up for each of the pits. But instead, you go for this, which I don't mind. All right, I don't mind Sorc Shoes. It just means that your team has to commit to the fight when they see it. All right, jump him over, please. All out immediately. There you go. Peel the Gragas. He uses stopwatch correctly. Now I want to see aggression right here. Tidal Wave needs to come out. It should have come out right there. A little bit late from Sven. And again, they're inting their teammate. Team is not willing to move in together. This is something that needs to improve. It is poor. It is just downright poor. And I don't know whether or not it's a team-wide, oh my gosh, whether or not it's a team-wide confidence thing or whether or not they're miscommunicating. Don't want to speculate, but this has been a weakness of M&S in the past. Hopefully they're finding success together. And we have heard, Blabber and M&S together. M&S has said this is the last jungler I'll ever play with. Essentially saying I would rather retire than play with another team because I love the way that this guy plays and it's up-tempo. We get to make so much happen. That play, M&S needed to be a little bit faster on the all-out. Just needed to be immediate. And if you had done it immediately and gotten the bonuses over the wall, maybe you get that good position. And then the tidal wave just had to show up. Right? Like, that's such a good corridor, too. You can throw it right along that angle. They either have to step out and away this way. Probably the majority of them still getting hit. Either way, they're definitely isolating the Gragas. And you would be able to get the rest of this pig. Well, look at this damage here. Just everyone. All 3 of them dying at the exact same time is actually pretty impressive. It was pretty cool to watch. All right, so let's check out GenG's technique for finishing the game. I think that's we know that that's where this game is headed. So let's look for what they go for. They are playing against a Kennen Lee Sin, so I expect them to do adjacent lanes as opposed to going far side, where sometimes you go 4-1 split opposite sides. You don't actually want that in this situation because it's too easy. Enemy team has too many short range engage tools. So instead, they're going to put Gragas by himself. Normally, you put him in mid wave, just as they've done here, and you put your 4 in the top side. Now look at the vision in between. They say, hey, we've got this control ward. We'll start moving our line up as we aggress forward. Chovy finding the aggressive spot forward. Nami finally using a tidal wave, but it's just too late. Sven has not been good enough for this quality of opponent. And basically you squeeze your way in, right? So you get pressure coming up in both positions. All right, you come it from top and from bottom. From top and from mid. You're consistently moving the ward line forward as you saw them do. And then as you squeeze, eventually you get close enough to the turrets where now you don't need to worry about that space in between. And it basically behaves like you're in one lane. They use that to press forward, and eventually they get the fight that they're looking for. Kennen has to use ultimate. They don't have enough tools left over. And just beautifully played macro. You know, very easy to play when you're this far ahead. You've got a lot of confidence. Largely it just comes to confidence in those situations. But GenG just putting on a masterclass in this entire series, just clapping Cloud9. And, you know, they're not taking anything for granted. I can't wait to see this team. Unfortunately, that is the end of the West's run in the tournament. G2 bowed out yesterday, Cloud9 today. And some things to learn from is definitely what to take from it. You get experience on the stage. You know, it counts. But that is not good enough for these players. Cloud9 has been here more than enough times. Even the players on Golden Guardians have had enough experience, but one more run. Golden Guardians honestly looking like the better team of the two of them. And I think largely Cloud9 only comes out on top in that series because they've beaten them recently, right? It's just a confidence issue. Hey, I know we can take it to these guys, so let's take it to them. And they do. But as far as playing against international teams, Golden Guardians did much better. And that's going to give me hope coming into Worlds. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps the channel out a lot. I'll catch you guys next time. Keep it surreal. Peace.